Keep about 30 minutes. And there. Oh, shit. Oh, here we go. All right. Another edition of In the Paint, part of the Speaking Podcast Network. I'm your host, Earnest, Christian, alongside, again, Zack Degenerate today. What's up, Zack?
What's up? I can't believe I'm still standing.
So, about 11 hours later, you're still wearing the same sweater. You still cold?
My house hasn't gone over 60 yet. It is freaking freezing here.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since we did a In the Paint podcast, and I haven't talked about NBA in a little while, and there's a lot going on. Obviously NFL is front and center, but as the season winds down, with championship weekend, of course, and Super Bowl in a couple weeks of that, the NBA is now becoming front and center now. Lots going on, and there's a couple of topics I wanted to talk to you. Like, we wanted to do a podcast last week, but we haven't able to get it in. But there's a couple of topics that are pretty evergreen right now. I wanted to discuss. The first one I want to get into is the coach of the year situation. I think you and I and Chris, who was supposed to be on the show today, but he couldn't make it last minute. We discussed coach of the year candidates. I made a post last week on social media saying, basically in verbatim, I don't give a shit. I think Earnest should be at least in the conversation for coach of the year. And of course, it's opened up a big discussion on social media about who are the guys that should be in the conversation for coach of the year. So if you had to do we're gonna rank teams later on the pod, but if you had to rank your top three like coaches right now, if you had to vote coach of the year right now based on what we've seen so far, how will your rankings look like?
Right now it'd probably be Kerr 1, Spoelstra 2, and Monty Williams 3.
Okay.
I mean, Monty's got the best team overall as far as constructed. But to still be able to be winning at the rate that he's winning in the out west, I mean, you got to put him in the top 3.
Do you remember who won last year?
That I don't.
I don't think it was Monty, was it?
No, for some reason I thought it was like Tibbs for New York or something.
Yeah, it was Tibbs for New York. That's right. It was Tibbs. You're right. And if we go Monty, that'd be the only reason why I would say maybe put him in the conversation, because he didn't win it last year. But he probably should have won it last year too. He had a conversation. I mean, Phoenix, we knew Phoenix would be good, but we didn't think they'd be that good. And then obviously they don't equate for what you do in the playoffs, but the guy that went to the finals still on top of that and was 2 wins to win a championship. I mean, obviously for me, the number one guy I say is the guy in Memphis. Obviously, what was his name? I forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name. So much change in the last couple of years, but the guy in Memphis.
No, you're right. I mean, I overlooked Memphis completely.
Yeah.
It's just you have to give some credit to the coach with the best record in basketball. And then when you look at what Kerr and Spoelstra have done with their teams when they're lacking so many of their important players at times, especially Kerr. I mean, all you really had was Curry, Wiggins, and Poole. Draymond's been out for 10 games now. Clay was out the whole season. Weissman's been out. And then you flip it to the Eastern Conference. You look at Miami with Spoelstra. I mean, Spoelstra, they took over the number 1 seed when I feel like Jimmy Butler wasn't even still on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, they were sneaky. They just snuck up on you.
The number one right now in the East, right now. Yeah. Bam Adebayo just got back from being injured for 6 to 7 weeks. Okay. Jimmy missed a chunk of games around that time too. And somehow, some way, they were able to sustain. They missed Harrell a couple of times as well. And they're still able to sustain. So at some point, I know he's had some great teams in the past. He had LeBron and whatever, but Spoelstra's a fantastic coach. And to me, I was very defensive about that last week when I made that post. By the way, his name is Taylor Jenkins. That's the Grizzlies coach, right? I mean, what Memphis is doing right now, honestly, like they're number 3 in the West right now. They've now put some distance between themselves in Utah,
and they're not far behind Golden State. So
no, they're not. And that's what John Morant missing 12 games. We debated on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, they went 10-2 without Morant. Right.
So
I still wanted to make him an MVP.
Well, he's in the conversation. You have to give him credit for that.
You can't have a team this early in the season win 10 games without you. It's the most simple math in history.
I don't know. I think you're looking at Jenkins, looking at Spoelstra, and you're looking at third guy.
How do you not put Kerr in there as your
I
third
would
guy?
I would say Billy Donovan too is another guy to look at, but the Bulls have kind of sort of come to earth a little bit now the last couple of weeks. Now injuries had a lot to do with that. Zach LaVine was out for a little bit. Lonzo Ball's out 6 8 weeks. So I would have said Donovan probably up to like last week or two. I mean, Steve Kerr's definitely brought some discussion. I would say that, but he has Steph Curry, and they have.
That's all he's at
Yeah,
as
Steph
far
Curry.
as a
You
scorer.
had Draymond for most of the year. He got hurt recently, but
Oh, you mean Draymond's 8 points a game?
I mean, he adds a lot of.
I know he adds a lot, but I mean, points are the most important thing in basketball.
Fair point. I don't know. The Steve Kerr thing, I top five, I give him top five, but number one, that's a bit shocking there, in my opinion. But that's my 3 years for 3. All right, next thing on the docket here, Lakers drama. Anthony Davis, as we're recording this on late Tuesday night. Anthony Davis did return to the Lakers tonight. I don't know if they won tonight or not. They played in Brooklyn tonight.
Yeah, they were up by 10 early, still in the first half, but I turned the channel.
Yeah, they won tonight by 10, actually.
Ooh, all right.
So, for all the drama that's happened in the last week, that's really last whole year, but especially the last week or two, you have now the Frank Vogel rumors about him being on the hot seat, the Russell Westbrook disaster. He gets a bench last week. Of course, LeBron is always drama on LeBron. AD's been gone for the last
20 games.
6 weeks. Yeah, he's back tonight. They win. As bad as things have been in LA so far this year, I still cannot dismiss the possibility of them going on a run. I'm not saying they're going to catch Phoenix. I'm not saying they're going to catch Golden State. I do think, though, they're still the team that if I'm the Warriors or the Suns, I want to play them early in the first round. Because, I mean, Station 1, it's still LeBron. If AD's healthy, it's still AD. And if Russ somehow figures shit out between now and April, this is still a team that I have to still consider a borderline talent contender. Your thoughts?
They're done.
Okay.
I don't care with AD coming back or not. I'm sorry. With Russell Westbrook being in your starting lineup and you can pull him out late in the game when the game is on the line, it doesn't matter. This is not a championship team the way it's built. You can't have LeBron as your star 3-point shooter.
Fair point.
Are they going to be competitive maybe in the playoffs? Will it go 6 games, 7 games in a series? Yeah. But right now, they're just not a team I would fear in the Western Conference.
So here's my logic here real quick. And I'm not saying they're going to surpass Phoenix or Golden State or even beat them in the playoffs, for that matter. But when you get past those two teams, and let's give Memphis some credit here, too, because Memphis has been balling. Although,
yeah, I don't see them beating Memphis.
But there's still question marks, going forward. Could he sustain this into April? And even Utah, to some extent. There is an opening in the West Conference. Once you get past 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4, there is an opening. Denver has not necessarily pulled away and gathered things up yet. Dallas either. There's still 5, 6 to grab there.
Dallas is a one-round team. They're not a championship team.
Right.
All right. But the other team that you mentioned with Denver, it's a one-man show right now, and they're still better than LA. Imagine getting a guard who can score 25 points a game. Imagine getting a forward who can shoot like, I don't know, Curry right now, shooting below 40%. Those things would be huge for Denver.
So Dallas has played decent the last couple of weeks. Won 8 last 10 games. So they've started formulating themselves a little bit now as the 5 seed. Denver, last time I did a podcast, Denver improved a little bit. It's still 4 games over 500. So then you have that's 6. So then you have Minnesota 7, LA 8. I still think unless Denver gets Jamal Murray back soon, I don't know. We keep hearing that he could be back as early as February. There is still an opening. Minnesota, you can't trust them to sustain. Clippers are going to fall apart because Paul George stays out for the year. Portland is not going to catch any ground. So there is an opening there.
There's an opening to lose in the first round. That's all LA is good for this
hypothetically,
year.
The Lakers can get the 6th seed, right? And let's say things stay the way they are right now in the West. You draw Memphis in the first round.
they lose.
I can't say that. Look, I want to be right. I want you to be right, but I can't say for certain that that's going to play out the same way.
I'm right now, all things being equal, I don't even know if it goes 6 games if they competed against Memphis. They would go 6 to 7 games if they went against Denver right now. To go against Utah, maybe a 7th game with a hope. But I mean, you're talking about a weak Denver team, a Utah team that is great offensively, but never can close it out in the playoffs.
Right.
So that's what you're banking on. You're banking on beating a team that's just not there yet. Everybody else in front of them, I don't think you can predict the Lakers would win.
And maybe for me personally, is seeing it in hindsight, seeing a LeBron James-led team fail at full strength. Like last year against Phoenix, obviously AD didn't play most of that series, so we knew that wasn't really much of a surprise. I guess it's seeing in hindsight to really hit the point. I just can't fully pull myself to say, okay, the Lakers are going to lose Memphis in the first round, and that's it. I can't, because if they're healthy in April and LeBron is still playing what he's playing now, I mean, look, for all the drama's going on, LeBron's having a fantastic year, and if the Lakers are any better, he'd be in the MVP conversation right now.
Oh yeah, and I mean, quite literally, he's not far away from the MVP conversation anymore.
Yeah, you can't. You're 500.
You can't be averaging almost 30 points a game and not be in the MVP conversation.
But you got to win some games too in the process. He's not winning enough games to warrant serious consideration. We had this discussion 2 weeks ago on the podcast about that.
Yeah. Now they're legit playoff contenders. They may not even have to worry about the bubble. That's how much has changed in 2 weeks.
Right. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not ready to fully wrap the Lakers. Are they a title contender?
No. Not in my eyes.
See me in 3 weeks. See me in 3 weeks. Because if I start seeing these guys, Russ figuring it out for a couple weeks, LeBron continues, 80 stays healthy. That gets a different conversation. So you brought up something here on text yesterday. I was at the fair, and it was an interesting text you sent to me and Chris. What was it? You want to explain to the listeners what exactly you were addressing a proposition?
I feel like when I sent it, it was because I was listening to someone on ESPN or FX1, or Fox Sports 1, talking about how Zion's family wants him out of New Orleans and yada yada yada. And so I thought, why not a trade between the Pelicans and the Sixers? Zion and a bloated contract for Ben Simmons. And to me, it's a win-win. Daryl Morey gets the supposed future superstar that he thinks Ben Simmons is worth. And the Pelicans get a guy who could actually play basketball. Step foot into an arena and not weigh 300 pounds and have to go out for 6 weeks to lose 10.
You're basically entrusting Doc Rivers to get Zion back in shape. I think we.
I'm not even trusting that. What I'm literally saying is, here's the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
No other team is going to trade a superstar for Ben Simmons. The only superstar that could possibly get traded, in my eyes, is a guy who's not a superstar, but is viewed as one. And that's Zion.
And the only reason he's not viewed as a superstar is because he hasn't played enough games to be warranted one. But when
he doesn't care about playing in New Orleans. You would not blow up to almost 350 pounds if you cared about being a superstar in a sport you loved.
I agree with you. It's a win-win for one reason, because it's the only trade that I feel like Philly will be worth working with Zion, knowing his talent, and he's young enough. Okay, in a big market, and then getting away from the Simmons drama. You're not getting better than Zion Williamson at this point now. Okay, so if the Pelicans are okay with Simmons coming there and taking a chance on Simmons, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm pulling triggers like yesterday. I'll take a
If
chance.
I'm the Pelicans, I pull that.
From the Miami Heat, I pull that also too because
I mean, I legit believe. I don't believe Ben Simmons is a superstar. If you're afraid to shoot, you can't be a superstar.
Right.
But can he be a player that helps you get to the promised land, or at least get close to it? Yes, he can do that for the Pelicans.
And I feel like also Zion is actually low key a good fit for Embiid because Embiid plays a lot on the perimeter too.
Oh yeah.
So
if anything, I mean, Embiid wants to slide out, and Zion would rather stay down low. So it suits him. They're both willing to take shots.
It's a match. No, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think the only thing you have to consider is the financials, which of course that's something they'll work on. They throw some picks in there, and because Zion's on a rookie deal, Simmons is on his second contract.
Hey, and there's an easy bloated contract that can get moved.
Right, of course.
Always a bloated.
You can figure shit out. I mean, these young things too. I'll throw a third team in there in a mix just to make it work. But if I'm Philly, to get away from the Simmons bullshit, absolutely. And because I don't think you're getting. Yes, you're getting a asset that's right now depreciated for the time being, but that could be because of where he's situated. You put him in Philadelphia, the team that's right now playing pretty good basketball too. They're well without Ben Simmons. It's called what it is. And you added Zion Williamson to that team with Joel Embiid having an MVP type season as well. To me, it's a no-brainer, really, be honest with you. And you just hope that Doc Rivers and that culture get Zion back in shape. I'm convinced that the reason why Zion is where he is now has a lot to do with the fact he's want to be in New Orleans.
Exactly.
I think that now.
When you can look at a guy and tell he does not want to be there.
Yeah. I totally
agree. He's willing to flush it all down the tubes. He knows he's still going to get paid. He's played 60, 70 games total in his career. Mm-hmm. And he's still going to get a max rookie offer because of possible hype.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would do a heartbeat. I totally would. There was one other story that kind of came out last week, and now it's getting a bit frisky now. James Harden. There's some rumors about James Harden last week saying that he could be open to wanting to play elsewhere. And now he's frustrated, as of tonight, saying he wants to win. That he's getting tired of the Kyrie drama. Of course, KD's injuries, all that. I knew this was going to implode. Now, we don't know, obviously, if it will go that route. But the signs are there. Like this, I said from day one that this mix of Kyrie, Durant, and Harden as a 3 was not going to work. I can see it's a 2. If Harden and Durant were the only 2, I can see working without issues. But you add the Kyrie dynamic, and I think Harden's getting frustrated with Kyrie and getting frustrated with the situation in general, and I can't blame him.
We have clear proof. Harden and Durant worked. They were at worst a 2 seed when it was just those two competing for the Nets this year. And honestly, can you blame him for not wanting to deal with the Kyrie bullshit and thinking that's a problem? Because to most people, they would say yes. Who doesn't? There's only one person in basketball that doesn't think the Kyrie situation is a problem, and that's Kevin Durant.
And I wonder if Harden's getting frustrated with Durant too in the process of that, like kind of being passive aggressive with Kyrie and how he's handling that situation.
I'm sure he's also hating the fact he's got to pass the ball as much as he does.
Yeah.
He's a great point guard as far as his ability to pass, but Harden does love to control the flow of the game and dominate with scoring as well.
To his credit, it has worked for him.
Yeah. And I think he's willing to sit back and wait till free agency after the season. He'll put up with the Kyrie bullshit, but I don't see him re-signing with him. Not with Kyrie there.
Yeah, this story is escalating. Well, here's the thing too. I think Kyrie is actually can opt out after this year. And based on what we've heard, now look, the Nets consider and say all the shit they want about we're not going to resign them going forward. But when the rubber meets the road, you still got to make a decision on how to handle that. But if they stick to their word, and you had a choice between keeping James Harden or Kyrie Irving, I'm taking James Harden any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, it comes down to what Kevin Durant wants.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, Kevin, if you don't win a ring this year and you have Kyrie playing half the playoff games and James Harden playing at full strength, dude, they're going to kill you. They're going to crush you in the media.
Yep. You left Golden State for this shit? And it was bad enough you went to Golden State in the first place. We know what that obviously that was a cop-out move. Going from a team that won 73 games the year before and a title the year before that, and you lost that team in the finals, to going to that team, dropping into that same exact team. It wasn't like LeBron. When LeBron went to with Wade and Bosh, and they started a whole brand new thing.
Oh, stop! Stop! It's as close to the. That team was built. There was no overlap in position. All right. 3 superstars in the top 10, no overlap in position.
Understandable, but it was no guarantee it was going to work. You'd literally dropped a guy into a already proven thing.
So, what was it? 3 young guys, basically age 25 to age 27.
Yeah.
In their prime, in their absolute prime. And you're saying, I didn't know if 2 of the probably 20 greatest players in basketball history could figure out how to play together. Give me a break. Well, I know you're a Heat player, but give me a break. Stop making it sound like your team had to work so hard to win a championship.
I'm not. No. Look, I'm not saying that what LeBron took was the easy.
He took the easiest way out.
But I'm comparing
he
what
took the baby way out in all of sports.
I'm talking about in comparison to Kevin Durant. In comparison to Kevin Durant took the easier way out because, again, he went to a team that had already established a champion culture. Nothing changed. Durant just dropped in there with an already established roster. Yes, LeBron played with top 3, 5 talent in the league, top 10 talent in Bosh, top 3, 5 in Wade. Okay, but it was still, we didn't know all the parts of the puzzle.
LeBron had been to a finals. Wade had won a finals already. Yeah, I mean, they didn't know what they were doing. Stop. Please stop.
All right, man. But this is going to be one of the stories. We talk about Simmons, and we talk about, obviously, Damian Lillard and his situation. This Harden situation is going to be another one we have to look at moving forward into the offseason, because this can be huge. So, all right, before we let you go, last thing. We're going to try to do this every week we can, because as I said, as my other podcast was awesome, we're getting to the end of the year, so that show will be on the back burner at some point, and this show will be the main priority, week-to-week priority anyway, of the podcast. We're going to start doing power rankings here too. Now, I won't be as egregious with the rankings as I am with the football show, because that's a little more week-to-week, and that's definitely more polarized. We'll do like a Power 5 every week and just touch on it. Maybe every couple of weeks we'll do that. So I want to try this out first. So let's rank right now who we believe are the 5 best teams right now in the league right now currently. 5, what do you got?
Milwaukee.
I like it.
Reigning champion. Giannis is still an MVP. They're going to be in the conference finals, in my opinion.
They took the rust off. Started slow. And yeah, they're not going to probably match what I thought they would do this year. As Chris said that they would be a little more hungover from the title.
Oh, you guys thought they'd be running away, crushing the over. I was the only one who took the under in their win total.
Oh, it was you that said that. It was you that said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They realized they didn't have to work hard anymore. They know what they've got.
Oh, wait. Let me give you my first ding of the power rankings here real quick. Okay. There you go. So, I like the Milwaukee actually pick here for number 5. 5 for me is right now one of the hottest teams in the league in the last month and 2 months. That is the Memphis Grizzlies. The only reason I have them low is because I just don't know if, again, I'm still apprehensive about, cool story. The dog days in the NBA season starts now. Goes into February, into March. Can you sustain? I'm not saying catch Golden State in Phoenix, the assignment for me right now is, can you stay ahead of Utah? If they stay ahead of Utah the rest of the year, they move up in the rankings. I think the coach will win the coach of the year probably. Because Memphis number 3 in the Western Conference.
I know.
That's incredible. So,
and I got Utah in the finals, so yeah, if they can stay ahead of Utah, they definitely deserve it.
So 4 for you too.
4 for me. I'm actually gonna listen to you. I'm gonna take Memphis at 4.
Ooh, okay. So we swap spots here.
Yeah, I swapped out one of my teams.
Right. I have Milwaukee at 4. Again, we just said it. Started slow, but now they're getting the rust off. You also look around. Brooklyn having issues now. Kyrie's back, but now also as Kyrie gets back, Harden's frustrated. KD's hurt. They should start tumbling a little bit instead. I think they'll start tumbling instead a little bit. Just saying.
I agree, but
Miami,
I don't think position where they position themselves matters. If anything, when you're the Nets, you almost want to be out of the top 4 so that you're gonna have Kyrie on the floor more often.
Yeah, good point. So 4 for me was the Bucks. 4 for you was the Grizzlies. Number 3, who you got?
Number 3, your Miami Heat.
Guess what? Me too. Again, they've missed. You got Bam missing half the year. Jimmy a chunk of the year. Injuries. Who the fuck is Caleb Martin?
A couple of weeks ago, I didn't even know you guys were even in the playoffs. You guys had fallen off the radar.
Max Strus. This is why Eric's supposed to be coach of the year, or at least number 2 in the ranking, coach of the year, because he's doing shit with guys I've never seen before or they heard about. Caleb Martin, really, dude? I'm just saying. And he's doing it again. He's doing this shit again with G League players. 2, you got
Steph Curry. Because right now, that's what it is, Steph Curry.
Well, yeah, me too. Number 2, Steph Curry, the Warriors. Klay Thompson hasn't really done anything. I mean, he's missed a couple of games actually too. Recently,
he's doing all right. I mean, again, you should never be expecting a player coming off of an injury for that amount of time to make an impact right away.
So right now,
you're gonna feel Klay's impact probably the last month of the season, and that's when it'll start to notice.
And that's the advantage of starting the way they did. By starting red hot, that it gives them a little wiggle room. That even if Memphis does catch them, okay, with a 3 seed, okay, we can still go to the finals, the 3 seed, no big deal. You know, it gives a lot of wiggle room. So, as right now, for example, right now they're playing the Mavericks at halftime. He's played 13 minutes, 11 points, 3 for 4 for 3. So not bad. Shaking the rust off. I would say by March we should be close. I haven't seen the old Klay. I think you said April or May that you.
Yeah, I honestly believe the last month of the season is when he'll have a real impact on the team.
Right. Okay. I said Warriors 2 for me. Number 1 should be. I think we both have the same 1, right?
Yeah, the Suns. There's no way you can put anyone. Hell, if you didn't have the Suns in the top 5, something was wrong.
I got Suns number 1 too.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that this team is doing it again. I mean, look, I thought they'd come back to earth a little bit. I thought it'd be a top 3 team in the West. Not surprised, but I think they're the only team right now, if I'm not mistaken, still in single digits in losses. Yep, they are.
It's a well-built team. You have a young center in Ayton. You have a top 6 or 7 point guard in history, right, in Chris Paul. Devin Booker can shoot the lights out of the gym. So, I mean, when you look at your starting 5 and you throw in Bridges, I mean, it's a well-built team. They should be up there.
And not only that, now they're putting distance to themselves in Phoenix, in the West. I think that I'm looking at it right now. They have right now I believe it's a 4-game lead in the division.
Damn.
In the conference, 3.5 game lead in the conference, which that's kind of a big lead for 2 teams that are red hot.
Yeah.
So no, they're impressive. I mean, we'll see what happens as we get down to the dog days and in the playoffs, of course, now. But I didn't think they'd do this again. I thought they'd be a little more down to earth, maybe 3-4 seed, still pretty good, still dangerous, still top contender. But the fact they're We're now in January and they're still single digits in losses. Pretty sick. And that's what Paul missing time and Booker missing time and yeah, it's pretty impressive. So, anyway, Zach, anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Nah, I just want to give a shout out to the last place, Orlando Magic.
So bad, dude. This
So bad.
Contract that team. I'm joking.
Dude, please.
Oh,
then I can go back to rooting for the Celtics, who suck.
Is that who you? If the Magic were to go away, is that who you root for? The Celtics?
That's who I grew up rooting for.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've always known he's an Orlando guy. I mean, I never ever asked you who your number 2 team was.
I became a Magic fan when they put out the logo. Just like Jacksonville. I have been a Jaguar fan since their initial logo was 2 J's shaped like the uprights.
The worst logo ever.
That was the greatest logo ever.
Jacksonville
Jaguar upright. That was
Did they ever use it?
Oh yeah, I have a hat.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I gotta check it out.
Man,
Shit.
I bought that hat on a trip to DC when I was like in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I just saw that the Wizards blew a 35-point lead to lose to the Clippers tonight.
Man, Reggie Jackson balling out.
Dude, what's crazy is that the Wizards started off great. Remember, people talking about all the Wizards. Maybe
they were top 2-3 seed for a while.
Yeah, now they are what? I think right now they are barely in the play-in. 2 games under 500. Oh, we didn't touch on actually here on the podcast. We can do it real quick before we go. East versus West. Has the Eastern Conference finally surpassed the West? Because right now, as we sit here, we have 9 teams, and we haven't seen this in a very long time. 9 teams in the East that are at least 500 better. Number 10 is Washington, just 2 games under, and they were 500 about 3-4 days ago. You know, in the West, you have it's top heavy. You have obviously Utah, Memphis, Phoenix, Golden State, and there's a drop off. You know, now some teams in the bottom are starting to come rise a little bit now, but
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
In both conferences, if you look at the 5 through 8 seed, which conference has a team that you think has a shot at a finals?
5 through 8?
Yeah.
I mean, by default, it's going to be probably the Lakers.
Exactly.
And maybe Denver.
Even better. Denver, who only has 1 star with everyone out, and the Lakers. Whereas you go to the East, and what do you have? Charlotte with the 6th seed? They're not going to any finals.
Well, 5 through 8 is Cleveland. By the way, we talk about coach of the year. Their coach, Bickerstaff, should be in too. Sixers, maybe the Sixers, I guess.
But they're not a 5 seed, are they?
They're 6 seed.
They're a 6 seed now? Wow.
Yeah, they've won 7 of 10. They were actually one of the hotter teams in the league like a couple weeks ago. Charlotte 7, Toronto 8.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, half those teams, I don't even see Chicago really competing for an Eastern Conference Finals spot. All right, when we all get down to it, it's gonna be Bucks, Nets, and maybe the Heat.
Right.
All right. Whereas in the Western Conference, you got 5 teams that could legit compete.
It's a good point. Suns, Warriors,
Memphis, Lakers,
I won't put Memphis
Jazz.
I won't put Memphis in just yet. Utah, maybe. I will still say if Jamal Murray gets back to Denver in time, they're still a contender.
Yeah.
I can't not say the Lakers yet, and I got to see the 3 guys together for extended periods. That's another thing also we haven't discussed is the fact that for all the shit we give the Lakers right now, how bad they've been playing, those 3 guys haven't played together much this year.
I don't need to see all 3 play together. You know what I need to see from the Lakers?
What?
LeBron and AD healthy. That's all I need from the Lakers. Right. I don't need Russ. Do you need Russ to get to the finals?
No.
Okay.
No, because they did it without him already once.
Look, he's there for garbage time. He's there for minutes.
He's going to carry the team right now to get to the point of playoff time.
He should be there strictly for minutes to get them into the playoffs.
I agree.
I wouldn't care if I was an 8 seed. As long as I'm a seed that gets to compete, I wouldn't care. But
yeah,
no, I don't think the East has supplanted the West yet.
It's funny. I would have said yes until you said that. You made a great point because 5 through 8, you can still make an argument for the Lakers being title contender. You can make an argument for the Nuggets being title contender still. I can't necessarily say the only team in the East I can even somewhat consider is the Sixers, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and with it only being Embiid, can you really trust Embiid to carry a team to the finals?
Right. No, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So, yeah, well, I guess we'll revisit this topic again down, probably another month or two from now because this is obviously ever
yeah. Because free agency, all those free agent signings, you get to see a full season melding together, be different.
Oh, did you see this rumor about what if the Lakers decided to trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall?
I like it.
You would do it?
I would do it. A turnover machine versus a guy who would just be happy. Because have you heard John Wall say one bad word since being benched the entire season?
Well, he's in Houston. No one's covering Houston.
Yeah, but if he goes on Instagram and rips the team and the organization or the players, you would hear about it.
Yeah.
But he's being a good soldier.
Fair point. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll bet next week. We'll discuss next week because I think, again, NBA basketball will be coming front and center now as we get to the end of football. So we'll talk about it later. Zach, thank you so much as always.
All right, man.
Soon. All right. Later, buddy.